First of all, a couple of years ago, I realized that I had never been alone in 48 years, meaning that I was raised, of course, with my family, my parents, my sister. Then I went to college, I had roommates, and I stayed on campus all 4 years. Then afterwards, I graduated, had a roommate, and then another roommate. Then I competed Miss USA, didn't win, but still moved to Los Angeles and had a roommate. And then I got married. And then I had Jasmine. And then it was me and Jasmine. And then, of course, I picked up 4 more beautiful babies along the way and 2 husbands. So for 48 years, I didn't know what it felt like to be alone with just Pat, which was crazy to me that many years went by and I had not experienced just alone time. Alone time to just think about, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to eat? What do I like to do? What makes me happy? What makes me sad? What do I want to watch on TV? Or do I even want to watch TV? Maybe I want to watch Netflix. Or maybe I want to read a book. But then what book? I mean, it was stuff that I had never even thought about because so many other factors had always played a part in my decisions. I always wanted to make sure everybody around me was okay. And if they were okay, then I thought I was okay. But I realized that's not true. That's not true at all. And it was crazy because it took 2 women telling me, you have to go away. And I'm like, but where do I go? And how do I do that? Because I have so many different schedules I have to consider. And they both said to me, and they didn't even know each other, it'll work out. They thought I could go for 2 weeks. I was like, absolutely not. Like, the kids won't make it. My husband won't make it. No, my business won't make it. And they said, okay, how many days can you do? And I said, I'll do 5. I worked with my assistant and I worked 5 days out. But guess what? I just went through COVID where I've been isolated and quarantined for 2 weeks. And guess what? Everything worked out perfect. The kids, I'm just saying, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, ain't nothing go wrong with them. They are all healthy. They didn't break bones. They are still alive and thriving. And their dad did a phenomenal job with them. My business, everything is still floating along, no problems. I mean, everything has been fine. And I thought about the fact that many times we know how to drop and just stop our lives. Say if there's a funeral, somebody passes away, we'll get there. We'll stop everything to get home. Or if there's a wedding. But just taking care of ourselves, we don't see that as an emergency. We don't see that as a high priority. We see ourselves as last when we should be first, of course, after God. And if we don't take care of this vessel that was created in God's image, we don't stand a chance of doing the work that He's called us to do, which many times are, taking care of our kids, taking care of our spouses, jobs, our homes, the community, other family, extended family. I mean, there's so many things I can just pile on. Working out, grocery shopping, whatever it is, right? Homework. We make sure we get everything else done, but when it comes to us, we tend to put ourselves last. We're the last to do on our list. So I went away. I went to Arizona, and I stayed at this amazing resort where I actually held my first Treasure You retreat. It's called the Royal Palm. And I always loved it. It just is a very spiritual place. I always felt a connection with Arizona. We lived there for a couple of years, and it just felt like the right place for me to rest my soul. And so went to the Royal Palm, first night. I'm like, okay, this is beautiful, but there were not any other women there for me to say, okay, y'all, what do y'all want to do? Where are we going to eat? I didn't have anybody to talk to. I didn't know what I wanted to watch. I didn't even know what I wanted to eat for dinner. It took me forever just to get comfortable in this space because I was alone, which should be our most comfortable space. But I realized it wasn't mine. I was so, again, used to asking other people, what do you want to do? And literally that first night was so crazy. I couldn't quite figure myself out. By day 2, I literally slept the entire day. That's how tired I was and didn't know it. By day 3, y'all, I was at the pool swimming, working out in the gym. I even had the nerve, because nobody else was in the gym, to turn on my music as loud as I could. I think I put Beyonce on, and I jammed out. And I realized, oh my God, I love to dance. I had forgotten how much I love to dance. You know, even though I can't sing, I just can remember being really young and performing with my cousins, or even alone in my game room at home on this bench. And I would put on like a turtleneck and pretend it was hair. And I would pretend I was Cher and Diana Ross and all these people and just perform. Yet, I had not danced like that in years. And it was unbelievable. It was such a freeing feeling. I went swimming. I didn't care about my hair. Y'all know how we are about our hair. And if you're like me and you wear wigs, I call them Chloe's, you don't want to get your hair wet. Or if you have extensions, you always think about your hair. So I realized just how much freedom I had taken away just because of my hair, not wanting to get my hair wet. But guess what? I wore cornrows that week, brought my wigs along, and then when I went swimming, I took them off. I took the wigs off, and I just went swimming in my cornrows, and I didn't care. I didn't care who was looking at me or what people thought. I actually felt beautiful. I felt free. And then at night, sometimes I'd just go have dinner alone, or maybe have a glass of wine with my dinner, listen to some music, you know, in the restaurant. It was beautiful. To the point that when it was time for me to go home, I didn't want to go home. I was like, can I get a few more days? But I had already committed. So I had to stick to the commitment to be back. But it was truly my kickoff to my journey of freedom.